we were leaving off on everything. Everything shut down. The business was
Yeah.
changing, and as scary as that is, you know, there's soon going to be changes in a different way because in the next
Yes.
year, Ring of Honor pops up, TNA pops up. What was
Yep.
on your radar first, personally?
TNA was on my radar first only because the Shocker Barons was involved, right?
There you
So,
go.
so Thanksgiving of 2001, right? Yeah, Thanksgiving of 2001, I got booked to work for Burt Prentice in Nashville. And, Bill had helped set that up. And at the time, I was teaming in Wildside, I was teaming with a young man by the name of Seth DeLay. And, our combined age wasn't legal drinking age. We were babies. So when I got to Wildside, uh, Rick had asked me like, "Hey, do you what's your name?" And I was like, I had thrown a couple ideas out there, and I said one of the names I threw out there was Kid Ecstasy. And he goes, "Oh, that's perfect. I got a kid named Kid Cool. You mind teaming with him? We'll come up with a team name for you guys later." So that's fine. So we tried it out on a Friday night show. We just clicked. I mean, and Seth at the time was probably, I would be shocked if he was 15, if he was 16. It's probably, I know he was 15 because he wasn't able to drive yet. So he was Kid Cool. I was Kid Ecstasy. We were G rated, but the G stood for good looking. Uh, and we often worked with like Rick's two prized pupils who were the Lost Boys, who, yeah, again, same age range as us. I don't think any of us were 18 years old yet. Uh, here we are, Thanksgiving night, booked to work the Nashville Fairgrounds for Burt. And I don't know if they knew because, like, outside of there was one guy in on the Lost Boys that was a wrestling fan growing up, and the other two just kind of fell into it. But like Chad, who's the one I was closest to, I don't even think he grasped like what working the Nashville Fairgrounds on Thanksgiving meant,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so like I'm losing my mind, and when we get there, we meet Burt, and Burt becomes a big fan of our match, and asked us for more dates, and had mentioned, well, I know Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff Jarrett's talking about starting a new company, and I think he needs young talent like you guys. So this is on my radar November of '01. So I'm like, oh my God, Jeff Jarrett. Like, I love Double J. Like, please let this happen.
So at
And
this
so,
point, you weren't because there's always that thing where there's this new millionaire backed promotion coming up, and they're almost never true. There's exceptions, but at this point, you weren't jaded enough to doubt it. You were like, okay, Jeff Jarrett, I know him. I know
yes, yes, no. And
Bert.
keep in mind that I was also so young that they they could have used the fake millionaire name, and I'd been like, this is the real deal. This is happening. But especially using the Jarrett name in Nashville, like plus I knew, I'd known of Burt because I'd read about Memphis Championship Wrestling and Music City Wrestling, and I knew Christopher Love from Global. Like I was familiar with who he was, so I trusted the word. And then once the year turned into '01, and then the whispers kind of picked up, and the whispers became talk, and talk became yelling, and then like, oh my God, this is really going to be a thing. And like there was a show at the fairgrounds in March of '01 that a bunch of us got booked on, and AJ was working David Young that night,
Would
and
it be
that's the.
02?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I apologize.
No
Yes, it was
worries.
'02. It was '02, but that's the night that Jerry Jarrett first saw AJ Styles. AJ worked David Young, and immediately, you guys are signed. Immediately,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, you guys. I mean, instant. And I had known them because they were Wildside guys, so I knew, like I was like, oh my god, this is a possibility. And then we went and did our match, and like it was a pretty good match, and we were happy with it. Well, my buddy Chad, we get brought to the when we're done, we get to the back and we're kind of high fives and thank you. We had a good time, and suddenly Chad's missing, and I was like, oh wow, did Chad get a job? And 20 minutes passes and Chad comes back and he's completely, I mean, just all the color sunken out of his face. And I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? And he goes, well, they asked me about coming to do something with Jeff Jarrett. I was like, dude, that's so cool, man. Like, obviously, part of me was like, I hate you. I
Of
want to
course.
fight. I want to fight you for real. But like, I was genuinely happy for him, right? Like, hey, dude, that's awesome. And he goes, yeah, there's a problem. I go, what's the problem? He goes, they asked me if I'd get breast implants.
Oh God.
He goes, yeah, I went into Jerry Jarrett's office and he laid out this whole idea where like I'm going to be a dude, but I'm going to get breast implants because the only way I can get noticed is if I was a female and not a male. And I was like, I don't understand because you're not pretty.
That's the leap in logic right there.
Yeah, like I was one of the whole boob thing. Yeah, I'm with you there, but you're not pretty. Like we could put lipstick on this pig, but it's still gonna be a pig, buddy. But he was like, I don't know what to do, and I was just like, oh wow. So like in my brain, that's the thing where I was like, this is 100% a real deal. If they're pitching ideas like that, like this thing's full boogie, I got to be a part of